Hey, welcome everyone. So good to see all of you here. Just a few helpful notes in case you haven't attended any of our other sessions yet. Each session is being recorded and it's going to be posted on our Staff Assembly YouTube channel. And the keynote presentations are going to be in the UCR LMS. You can still view them right now in the events page on the conference website. If you want closed captions for the session, you can click on the Show Closed Caption button down at the bottom of the screen. And then you are welcome to use the chat to ask questions or the Q&A feature. Lexi is open to questions throughout the presentation, so go ahead and throw your questions out there so she can answer those. Then just as a reminder, please be mindful of our UCR principles of community as we get going in the session. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speaker today. So we have with us Lexi Stahler, our ComPsych account manager at UC Riverside. Lexi works closely with our HR benefits team on offerings for our campus. She got her bachelor's degree from Hope College and has worked for ComPsych for over 6 years and has been in the industry for 8 years. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Sarah, and thanks everyone for taking some time out of your day. We're very excited to share a little bit more about your program and the mental health resources that are available. One quick caveat I do want to give just on the front end. The program I'm going to be speaking about today is specific to UC Riverside. That being said, we at ComPsych do also provide programs to the Irvine and Santa Cruz campuses as well. And if you are not part of one of those 3 campuses, I would also encourage you to check out your own campus's benefit site, as it'll have any sort of program details around what's available to you all. So just kind of keep that in mind as we walk through today's session. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and jump in. So next slide, please. So first off, for those who are not familiar with who ComPsych is, who Guidance Resources is, I want to just kind of first clarify, there's a lot of different naming conventions that we use. We also at Riverside will oftentimes refer to the program as the Faculty and Staff Assistance Program. So not to be confused, those are all referencing the exact same program. And really the goal with our services is to help you all achieve that coveted work-life balance that we all try to achieve. So we know, especially nowadays, we don't live our lives in silos, and that oftentimes what's happening in our personal life is impacting the way we perform at work, or the stress of work is sometimes impacting our, attention and time with our loved ones at home as well. So really the goal with our service is to help with all of those different areas of your need from a really holistic perspective so that you can really be your best self, both at work as well as at home with your loved one. What we're going to talk through today, so I'm going to go through the program itself. We're going to really make sure to highlight the mental health services and counseling services that are available, along with the legal, financial, and work life services that we can support with as well, knowing that a lot of times that mental health is oftentimes intertwined in different topic areas as well. And then we'll also hit on some of the different digital tools we have available as well that are really great for you, really improving your overall well-being. So we'll go through each of those more in depth, and hopefully by the end of today's session, you'll have a little bit greater understanding of what is available to you all at Riverside. I am seeing a note that sound quality is bad. I'm not sure if that is the case with everyone else. If you're able to send a note through the chat, if that's still the case, that would be great. All right, I'm getting some that are confirming they can't hear. So we'll go ahead and progress. As mentioned, this is being transcribed. We also have closed captioning available. So if you have any sort of audio issues, that will be available. The other thing as well, as mentioned by Sarah, I'm happy to take questions throughout today's session. Feel free to send things in through the chat, or you can use the question feature if you would prefer. And we will also have plenty of time afterwards for any Q&A as well. So that we can go ahead and hop to the next slide. So before I talk about each of the individual services, I want to talk about first how you all at Riverside will specifically be able to access this program. So there's one of two ways in which we see faculty, staff, and household members engage with our program. The first of which is by calling in to the 800 phone number that's shown here on the screen. You'll also find this on your benefit site as well as on any program promotions you might see about the program. This is a 24/7 phone number. So regardless of what time of day or what day of the week that you need support, you can call that phone number anytime. I will also say that when you call the phone number, you're going to actually speak with our master's level and above educated clinicians. So we really find it important to, especially because we're supporting with mental well-being, that we really have a clinical first approach so that our intake clinicians can really best assess and get you connected to the right resources for your particular need. Um, I do also want to mention that anything you share with our intake team is also completely confidential. I know sometimes when I talk about these type of topic areas or give types of examples that like I'm going to today, those can sometimes prompt really sensitive or personal questions that you might have that you don't feel comfortable sharing in front of this type of audience. And if that's the case, you are always more than welcome to call in anytime. Our team is happy to answer questions, and you can be assured that anything that you share with our clinicians over the phone will remain confidential. Now, the second way in which someone might engage with the program is through our website or our mobile app, both of which are the exact same tool, just a different format. And those can be found either at guidanceresources.com if you're going on a desktop, or our app is called Guidance Now, all one word, and can be found in both the App Store and the Google Play Store. Now, if you're a first-time user of the website or the mobile app, you will be prompted to actually register and create your own account. And to do so, you will just need your company web ID, which in the case of those at Riverside is UCR FSAP. Once you've entered that in, you'll be prompted to create your own username and password that you'll use to log in every time thereafter. And then one other thing I do just want to mention, so with this program, it is available to you all, both faculty and staff as UCR employees, as well as anyone that's living in with your house in the household with you. So a little bit unique from maybe other benefits where you actually have to enroll or someone needs to be benefits eligible. We just say that whomever is living with you is welcome to use this program. So that could be if you have roommates, if you have a significant other you aren't married to yet, if you have loved ones, family members living with you, family friends staying with you, whether that be temporarily or long term, they're all welcome to use the program as well. And that also extends to if you have college age children living away at school, maybe they're in a different state, as well as dependents that are splitting time between two separated parents. Um, when someone calls in to get connected to care, we're just going to be asking their the employer name so that we can connect them to the correct program. But it's really all honor system based. So we know a lot of times these types of services, maybe it's not just yourself who needs support, but it's someone in your household that can do so. And so they're more than welcome to call in through the same phone number or even create your own account. So with that said, you can go ahead and move to the next slide, and we'll go a little bit more in depth around the actual program components. So when we talk about mental well-being, oftentimes it's counseling that first comes to mind. So we do offer short-term counseling through this program at no cost to UCR employees and their household members. With the program itself, you can receive short-term counseling allotted at 3 counseling sessions per person per issue per year. Those can be done in person with a counselor that's local to you and where you're living, or they can be done via one of our telehealth options. So that can include video counseling, phone counseling, and chat counseling. Chat counseling itself is actually, if you kind of think of like an instant messenger type format, but it's during a scheduled time through a secure platform with one of our licensed social workers or psychologists. So very much mirrors what you would kind of get in a traditional counseling session, but done via a chat modality. So with that per issue, per person, per year allotment, just to kind of share a little bit more around what that looks like. So we know that a lot of times we have different things that come up in our life throughout the year that we can use some kind of mental health support with. So if, for example, let's say someone was struggling with the death of a loved one, they wanted to seek counseling for grief, they could call in today and get a set of 3 sessions for that particular issue. Now, if let's say 6 or 8 months down the road, that same individual was maybe dealing with some general stress or anxiety, they could get a new set of counseling sessions for that separate issue. The nice thing as well is your loved ones can also access their own sets of counseling sessions. So if maybe that death of a loved one not only impacted yourself, but also someone that you're living with, they could call in and get their own set of counseling as well. Now, when we go ahead and try to connect you to a counselor, we really want to take into account any of your counselor preferences. So, do you prefer a counselor of a particular gender, ethnicity, specialty, religious affiliation, so on and so forth, so that we can connect you to someone who's going to be a really good fit? But that being said, I always like to say that if you were to call in and seek counseling, sometimes that first step in itself is really difficult. So I always like to say that anything you share with us is completely voluntary. So you can share as much or as little information as you feel comfortable doing so. That being said, there is a greater likelihood of us connecting you with a provider who's going to be a good fit for you, the more that you share. Now, when we think of counseling, I think a lot of times we think of kind of the more so quote unquote kind of traditional topic areas. So things like anxiety, stress, grief, depression. But short-term counseling can really help with a lot of different topic areas. So whether you're just dealing with uncertainty, and it seems like, nowadays there's a new headline every other week or every other day, even, that can sometimes cause us to become stressed or anxious about the future that we need support with. Maybe we have a fear of public speaking that we need assistance with. Or even if you're going through positive life changes, like maybe you're starting to grow a family, or you need some support as you're, preparing for marriage with your significant other. Those are all topic areas that counseling can really help support with. And sometimes, some days we just need to go ahead and vent, or we only need a singular counseling session for just a certain life challenge that we're dealing with at that time. And those are all different topic areas our counseling services can actually help support. I will say, with the nature of this particular program, our focus is really on that short-term solutions-based counseling and really trying to be proactive. So preventing small issues from becoming larger, more long-term natured issues. So if you do happen to need more longer-term care, we would recommend you use your insurance for that particular care. Or if you are already in care with a carrier or a provider, excuse me, through your insurance carrier, we recommend that you continue to see them for those services, so that you can really continue that relationship with them. That being said, sometimes people will call in and they know that they're going to need long-term care, but they want to start with our program and use that free benefit first before moving into insurance. And if that's the case, we can make sure that we refer you to a provider that's not only within our network of providers at ComPsych, but also within your medical carriers network as well, to allow for a really smooth transition of care once you've maxed out those sessions through the FSAP. I do see there was a comment around it might be helpful if the person answering the call asks if the caller prefers a counselor of a particular gender or specialty. yes, we can certainly, take into account those types of requests when connecting someone to care. We have also recently introduced, I will say, a online scheduling tool as well, where you can actually go in and schedule and book an first appointment online as well. And you can actually plug in your provider preferences. So that's also a really great alternative to make sure that we're taking into account those particular counselor preferences. Great. All right, you can go ahead to the next slide. So we understand that a lot of times, what's going on from a mental health standpoint is oftentimes interconnected with different areas of our life. So we really like to take, as I mentioned before, a holistic approach when it comes to caring to an individual. So we do have some supplemental services that I do like to mention as well, knowing a lot of times these different areas can also lead to a lot of stress or, anxiety or even, burnout or just uncertainty in our lives. So we're really here to support on multiple different faceted areas. So the first of which is our legal service. So employees and their household members have access to unlimited consultation over the phone or video with our staff attorneys. So they can help with anything from family law, wills, divorce, maybe you have a tenant landlord issue that you're dealing with. Maybe you're just trying to fight a parking ticket that you got, or even just trying to understand difficult contract language or legal jargon. Really, our service can help provide consultation on any of those different topic areas. I will say the one exception to that is anything employment related. So we can't provide consultation on anything that is going to be a conflict of interest. Um, so with that being said, you can have as many different appointments with our staff attorneys about however many different legal matters you might be dealing with. Really, the goal with our service is to provide education, tips on best practices, or understanding what options someone might have so that they can make an informed decision about their legal matters. That being said, we cannot necessarily represent someone. So if someone does ultimately need representation or some type of in-person consultation, we can actually refer you to a local attorney, in which case we offer a free 30-minute consultation plus a 25% reduction and all the fees thereafter those 30 minutes if you happen to retain them. Really, we hope that with a lot of the virtual consultation, we're able to minimize the need for actual representation, if not mitigate some of those fees by providing that consultation as well. So, hopefully you don't have to go down that route, but it's certainly a great option if you do. You can go ahead to the next slide. And I do see, there's some comment around a personal experience. I really do appreciate you sharing a lot of that. That's really helpful. And I'm actually going to share that feedback back with our intake team as well. We really try to provide the best experience when someone does call in and really help get them connected to care. So, if you do continue to, if you have had trouble, we're also more than happy to, I'm happy to have someone actually go ahead and outreach to you and have a clinician outreach to help make sure that you get connected to care if you want to share your contact information with your HR team as well, so that we can rectify any sort of like issues, or trouble that you might have had in the past as well. But any feedback, good or bad, is always much appreciated. So the next service, kind of in the same sphere as with our legal service. So you and your household members have access to unlimited virtual consultation with our in-house staff financial experts. So specifically CPAs and certified financial planners. They can help with anything from guidance around budgeting. Maybe you're trying to improve your credit score, paying off student loan debt. Maybe you're just trying to save for a large purchase like buying a house or a car. Or tax season. I know the deadline is quickly approaching, but maybe you just need some guidance around taxes. These are all topic areas that our team can assist with. Um, and with that, kind of similar to our legal service, the goal with this consultation is really to provide you with education, tips on best practices, maybe help even just help translating financial terminology into layman's terms so that you can really make an informed decision around your opinion. I will say our team is not able to give necessarily true advice or tell you exactly how to invest your money specifically, but really the goal is to help you be well equipped and really build your financial literacy so that you can really progress forward with your finances. I do also like to use this as just a quick reminder that just like with the counseling services, anything you share with our legal or financial team is also completely confidential. I know a lot of times, especially in this day and age, sometimes talking about these topics can be just as sensitive as talking about our mental well-being. And so I just like to rest assured that anything you share during that consultation with your legal or financial expert also remains completely confidential. And go ahead to the next slide. Thank you. And then just the last live service I like to mention is our work life service. Personally, this is my favorite service that we offer as it can help with so many different areas of our lives and oftentimes can really help remove some of that compiled stress that we might have in our life when, we're be causing distractions when we think about, all the things we maybe have to do or that are on our to-do list. So with this service in particular, it is unlimited, so you can use it as many times as you would like. And really, it helps find local information, referrals, and resources on almost anything and everything you can think of. So they like to say that as long as it is legal and ethical, we can help find it. Some of the most common requests are help with finding childcare and elder care facilities, helping find apartments or movers as maybe you're relocating or trying to find a new apartment. Maybe you need assistance with vacation planning, finding flights or hotels for an upcoming trip, or finding a contractor for some type of home improvement job. Those are all areas that we can assist with. And while we a lot of times equate this service with maybe more positive things, I will say it can also help a lot of times during times of need as well. So, I know with the fires, this team has done a lot of work with helping find shelters or temporary housing, or even finding different, government programs they may be eligible to apply for financial assistance. We've helped people find last minute financial assistance for funeral planning, or just trying to find hard to locate items that you're having trouble finding in store or online. Really, this service can help with so many different areas. We just like to say a lot of times you can come to them with your to-do list and we can find some way to help take some of those time-consuming tasks of your plate. Just to give kind of a quick example of maybe what it looks like to actually use this service. So using childcare as an example, that's one of our most common topics and types of requests that we get. So you would call in through the 800 phone number. And from there, our intake clinicians are going to collect all of the relevant criteria related to your need. So what age or ages are your child or children? Are there certain days of the week or times of the day that you need childcare? Are you looking for an in-home nanny versus an actual daycare facility? Do you have budget constraints? Geographical limitations? Are there dietary restrictions that we should take into account? And any other criteria that might be relevant to that particular need. And then our work life team goes and researches facilities that meet that criteria and also goes the extra step of actually calling them to make sure they have openings and understanding if there's any particular enrollment information that might be needed as well. And then we package all that information up along with some help sheets. So if this is maybe your first child, what types of questions should I ask when I tour childcare facility? How do I work on that kind of transition period with my child? And any other kind of relevant educational information that might help alleviate some of that stress with that particular request. All of that's packaged together and then either emailed or physically mailed to the individual based on their preferences. So really, this is a fantastic service. I know a lot of times you don't think of it directly to mental well-being, but it a lot of times can really help support someone from in different areas of their life that might be impacting their overall mental well-being. You can go ahead to the next slide. So I just want to lastly mention some of the great online tools and resources, really just to support you with your overall well-being journey. So if you have seen our site in the past, I will say we have fully redesigned the website as of January 1st. So it might look a little bit different if you've been on there previously. But with this website itself, it's really meant to be a support tool. So it is a great place to be able to find educational content, articles, help sheets, videos, assessments, things of that nature around varying different topics, mirroring what we saw with the live services. So things on emotional and behavioral health, things like stress, anxiety, legal and financial matters, parenting, elder caring for elders, real estate, things of that nature. We have tons of content on here related to thousands of different topics, but it's also a great way to actually get connected to services. So you can easily find the phone number on here, your program information. I mentioned before, you can actually book appointments online. You also even have the ability to book a consultation with our legal, financial, or work life experts online as well. And then also you have an option to chat or email with our intake clinicians too. So I know sometimes we aren't always in a setting where we feel comfortable picking up the phone and giving our team a call. So those are great options as well to be able to get connected to care. And we've also built in a new comprehensive well-being assessment where you can actually take a 5 to 10 minute more comprehensive assessment around various pillars of well-being. And then receive different recommendations and a care plan to really support you in the areas that you need assistance with the most. Really, if you have a few minutes today or this week, I would highly encourage you just go on and create an account, even if you don't need it now, but so that you have it readily available. Or if even a loved one or someone at home needs care or support, you can always just have it available to be able to find that information. Go ahead to the next slide. And then just a reminder, if you are a first-time user, so if you're an existing user and have created an account before, you will just go ahead and enter your username and password that you created previously to log in. If you are a first-time user, you will click on the register button and it'll prompt you to enter an organization web ID. If you are from Riverside, you will enter UCR FSAP and then go ahead and click the blue register button. You can go ahead to the next slide. And then from there, you will go ahead and create your own username and password that you'll use to log in every time. You can go ahead to the next slide. So this just outlines, you'll just enter your name, your username and password, and then you'll enter an email address. It does not need to be a work email address. So you can use so if someone at home wants to create their own account, they can also do so that way as well. I'll go ahead to the next slide. And then I do just want to mention, so kind of similar to the style of this session, we do also offer a number of personal development workshops, specifically webinars in partnership with both the benefits and the wellness team at UCR. I have highlighted a couple of different sessions that we have coming up, some are around kind of that mental well-being. We also have some on different, just general personal improvement. We also have started to add additional sessions throughout the year specifically for managers. So if you are a leader within the organization, We do also offer specialized workshops specific for you all too, so that you can be supported in your role. I know a lot of times that can create a lot of stress, or uncertainty as well. So do want to highlight some of these that are upcoming. We usually do anywhere from 2 to 4 sessions per month, actually, and these can all be found on the UCR page for you to go ahead and register. And with that, you can go to the next slide. That should be our closing slide. I know I have a couple of questions that have come through, so I'll kind of answer those, but I'm happy to also open it up for anyone else that had questions. We'll give you a couple of minutes so you can send them in through the chat or the Q&A. So the first question I got was just asking to confirm around the 3 sessions being per incident and not per year. So yes, it is per issue, not per year. It is per issue per calendar year, however. So if you maybe sought out counseling sessions in the 2024 calendar year for stress, you could call back again in the 2025 calendar year and get a new set of counseling sessions for stress. That being said, you wouldn't be able to seek counseling sessions today for stress and then a few months later for that same issue. It would need to be a completely separate presenting issue. And then there was a question, and it was posed, it might be specifically for campus HR, but it appears that guidance resources would be a good place to start for the legal matters before using the ARAG program. So I would say yes, if you aren't. I'm actually already kind of a bit familiar with the other program, and Sarah, you're welcome to chime in as well. But yes, I would say, certainly if you're already enrolled in the other legal program, that is really a great, more comprehensive benefit if you already are signed up for it. However, if something, comes up or, that you weren't expecting and you're not enrolled in that program already, or if maybe you just want a second opinion or a household member who is not benefits eligible and needed some type of legal support, they can use this particular program as well. So a lot of it just depends on your needs and also if you're already enrolled in that program. So I don't know, Sarah, if you have anything to add on that.
No, I would agree with you on that.
And then one other question that came in through the chat around the website. So yes, if you have previously registered for the website at all prior to January 1st, your same username and password should give you access to this new version of the site. So you should not have to re-register or anything like that if you have done so before. The registration only is applicable to brand new first-time users. I think that's all the questions I have seen. So I'm not sure, Sarah, you want to close it out for us?
Yeah, thank you all for joining us. And thank you, Lexi, for that good information. The FSAP really does cover a lot, so it's great to get that reminder. Oh, I do see a hand go up.
I just thought it was too much to type. So can you hear me okay? Yes. Okay. I just didn't know, there seems to be a little, this may not be the place to ask, but I know you were taking feedback. There seems to be like a disconnect on sometimes when I attend the workshops, if sometimes the presenter thinks that the webinar recording is going to be available to those who attended the workshop, and that's not been my experience. So I don't know if that's something that, because I know the registration is housed in UCR's learning system. So I don't know if that's something that once the workshop ends, if the recording could be supplied to be added to the LMS, or if it's, something that the recording could be just mailed out to those who attended or at least registered for the webinar, but maybe couldn't make it, but then they could at least view the recording. So that just was because sometimes I see that it's being recorded and the presenter, as they're talking, they seem to think that we're going to have the recording, but that hasn't been my experience. So.
No, really appreciate it, Nicole, and thanks for
Thank you.
Hopping off mute and sharing a bit of it. So I know we usually join UCR's platform, so I'm not sure, Sarah, you're able to jump in, but I'm happy to take it back to the team that we do work with at UCR so that we can make sure that wherever the recordings are posted, if they are available, that it's really clear to everyone too.
I'll make sure to mention it to our EOD team and see if they have any idea of that. Okay, not seeing any other questions. As you all know, our goal with the staff conference is to keep it free. So just a big shout out to our sponsors, Staff Assembly Lead, our HR team, Schools First Credit Union, and then a big shout out to ComPsych and Lexi for coming out and presenting on this. As a reminder, all of our conference sessions are going up on our Staff Assembly YouTube channel. And then I just put in the chat some quick reminders about some of the upcoming stuff. So we do have our closing session at 2 p.m. today. It is in person at UCR. So UCR people, come join us, have fun. RSVP on the conference site on the closing ceremony thing. The lead nominations for the executive board are open. Staff assembly elections are going to open April 14th. So please vote when you see that come out. You can sign up for our EOD listserv and sign up for the Franklin Covey All Access Pass. Information is in the chat. And then thank you all again for joining us, and we hope to see you at the next session. Go enjoy your lunch.